Now let's look at our assignment 7, our floor plan assignment. Here's where we are so far. You have probably been working on a foundation plan and a framing plan, and you've been putting that all on one drawing. And as we mentioned before, your stem walls are exactly where your house walls are going to be, so that's handy. Here's the assignment that you're looking at. So you're going to start with your foundation plan, and you're going to, I'm going to show you this in just a minute. I suggest you make a copy of your foundation outline and copy it onto the wall layer, and I'll show you later what I mean by that. Then you're going to draw a first floor plan, the main level floor plan. You'll have to maybe fiddle with the sizes a little bit. We think that the living room is probably 20 feet wide, the guest room probably 12 feet wide, the foyer probably 4 feet wide, but you may need to adjust that a little bit. And then you'll also make a second floor plan, an upper level plan. You'll include those triangular symbols for the braced walls. The city drawing shows some other stuff that you do not need to draw unless you want to for some reason. They are showing cabinets and appliances and furniture and things like that. You don't need to draw those. Just draw the floor plan. And we're not ready to add dimensions yet. We'll look at that next time. So you're going to start with your foundation plan. And you have some lines here. The foundation footing is that dashed line. The foundation piers are those hidden lines. And then the foundation outline is that stem wall. So as I'm going to show you in a minute, you'll freeze the layers you don't want. You'll make a copy of the layer you do want, and you'll move it to a new layer. Now, when you freeze layers, I just want to warn you, this is a look at AutoCAD layers. There are two ways you can make a layer not visible, a good one and a bad one. So freezing is what you want. When you click on this shining sun to freeze a layer, that sun is going to turn to a snowflake. It will be frozen. And frozen means you can't see it and you can't do anything to it either. You can't move it, delete it, stretch it, so forth. If you accidentally click the light bulb instead and just turn it off, yeah, the layer becomes invisible. But if you're in your drawing trying to move things and select things and so forth, unbeknownst to you, that layer that you turned off is going to get acted on too, and you'll get big surprises. So my advice to you, just stay away from that light bulb and just use the freeze thaw on your layers. We'll look at that in just a second. So here's your first floor plan, and you'll have some braced wall symbols. You'll kind of have to fiddle with these to get your text squeezed in there. 1/8" text is not going to fit, of course. And these numbers here indicate how high up the wall it is. As this note says, you don't need to include all this furniture and fixture stuff unless you like it. And then here are some suggested sizes. You can try them and see if those work for you. And then you will also do a floor plan for the second floor. Here's what it looks like. And this is one of those deals where there's a loft up here around the edge on the second floor. There's a sleeping area and a bathroom and a sleeping area. And then a big open area looking down to the first floor. And over here on the left end are some stairs. So we'll draw this second floor plan. We won't take the time to do a framing plan for the second floor. We'll just do the floor plan. A note about how you might have to fiddle with some dimensions. So you might have noticed that these plans from the city are a little bit short on dimensions, and some of them might or might not add up quite right. I've tried to adjust them where I could find things that needed adjusting, but I might have missed some things. So I just want to point out that this is a little like the design process, where we are in the design development phase. In a design process, you start with the big, broad conceptual design, where you make bubble diagrams. I want some living area bubble here. I want some sleeping area bubble here. That's conceptual design. Then you move to design development, where you begin to fill in the details. And that's where we are. We're on our way to construction documents. Construction documents are the final drawings that you will submit to get permitted, and they are the final drawings that the contractor will use to build your building. Now, let's go look at our CAD drawing. You remember one other time we were fooling around with this stem wall here. So here's my stem wall. And if I click on one of these lines, you notice that in the layer manager, a foundation outline shows up. So that's the layer that one is on. Escape. When I click on these dashed lines, a foundation footing lights up. And when I click on a pier block, a foundation pier lights up. Okay, well, I would like to turn off my footing and my pier block, so I'm going to go into my layer manager and I'm going to look for the freeze. I'm going to stay away from that light bulb. I'm going to freeze the footing. Watch those dashed lines go away. Oop. And I'm going to freeze the pier. Watch my pier block go away. All right, now I just have my foundation outline. And what I would like to do is make a copy of this and move it onto a new layer. Now, you might know more about filtering layers than I do, but for me, if I just try to make a copy right here, right on top of what I've already got, I'm going to wind up with kind of a mess where I don't know which line I've got. So here's what I like to do, and share with all of us if you have another method that you like. So what I do is I make a temporary marker with just some old layer. I don't care what layer I'm on. I'm going to mark the upper right corner of my foundation here, because I want to make a copy and be able to bring it back here. Okay, now I'm going to get the copy command. And I could go up here to the ribbon. I like to type CO for copy. And I could go in here and hand click one little line at a time, but that's kind of annoying. I mean, it takes time. So I like to use either the right crossing window or the left window. Just to review in case you don't remember this, here's what they mean. So notice I've got the copy command going, and on my cursor it says select objects. Okie dokie. If I click somewhere out in space to the right of my lines, and then let go of my button, and drag to the left and click, everything that crossed that window is now selected. And now I can do one more right crossing window. It's still saying select object, so I will. I'm going to come up here somewhere in space, click, let go, and then drag from the right to the left until I cross those lines, click. Now I have all the lines of my house selected. And I am done selecting, so I'm going to hit enter to accept. I'm still in the copy command, and it says specify base point. Okay, I'm going to use this upper right corner of my foundation as my base point. This is why it's so important to use O-snaps as you work. So I'm going to click that for my base point, and now it says specify second point. Okay, well, I'm just going to go out here in space. There. Now I've still got my foundation stuck to my cursor, and if I click again, I'm going to have multiple copies peppering my drawing. So what I'm going to do is hit enter, and notice in the command line here it says in those brackets there, it tells you what will happen if you hit enter. You will exit. Well, that is exactly what I want to do, so I'll hit enter. All right. Now I've got my original foundation down here, and I've got my new copy up here. Now I'm going to move my new copy to my wall layer, and I could do a right crossing window. I'm rather fond of that, and see how I've selected all the lines. Or since I've got plenty of room, I could do a left window, click down in the left, let go, and drag from the left up to the right, and everything that's completely contained in my window gets selected. Whatever. Now my lines are selected, and now all I do is I go to my layer manager here, drop down the list, and select a wall. That's the layer I want these guys to be on. And escape. So now if I click on one of those lines, notice that a wall lights up. Okay, great. Now I've got a copy of my stem wall on the wall layer like I want. Now I can freeze my foundation outline. So I'm going to go into my layer manager, find my foundation outline, and click the freeze button. Snowflake. Okay. Now my foundation is still there, but I have frozen it. Now you see the point of having these temporary marker lines here. Now I am going to just move my wall copy. I could use the move command from the ribbon up here, or since I'm a typing sort of person, I could type M, enter, and I will select all these lines that are now on the wall layer, enter, because I've selected, specify base point. Okay, I'm going to click that upper right corner as my base point, specify second point. Okay, I'm going to move this down to that set of marker lines that I had. This is where you want to make sure you have the right O-snap on. Near point is lighting up and midpoint is lighting up, and those might not be correct. What I want is the intersection of those two lines. See that green plus mark there? Now I can click, haha, and now I can get rid of, I can erase my two temporary lines because I don't need them anymore. I could get this erase command, or since I'm a typing sort of person, I could go E, enter, and then just select the two temporary lines I don't need anymore, and enter. And now if I want to, I can unfreeze the other layers, like I could do I'm going to leave my footing outline frozen. I just want to show you that these other layers are still there. See, there's my footing, there's my pier block. I don't want those right now though, because let me freeze them again. What I'm doing now is I'm starting to draw a floor plan. So all I want visible right now is just my wall layer. And I'm ready to start cutting doors and windows and putting in interior walls.